What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. I played a little deck known as STUNDER at YCS Fort Worth. This is mixing Thunder Dragons with real traps. And I did actually better than I expected from shaking the rust off and coming back to an IRL event. I broke out this deck box just for the event and for this little dice. So it was a pretty awesome thing to actually see and treat myself to. And thank you to T-Camp from the streams for loaning this deck to me. I'll mail you something special back with the deck for allowing me to. And this is a fully hollowed out deck, boys. So let's go ahead and get into it. Any cards that are kind of obvious, I'm going to speed through. You can ask in the comment section on reasonings, but ratios, I will explain. I played 3 Batteryman Solar and 2 Lupine. I still feel that Solar works better with the Thunder family, as it is a Thunder monster, which can end up becoming a Colossus. And also the token generation becomes super important later in the games for Link summoning. And then Lupine is still a really good starter. It mixes well with Allure of Darkness as well, oftentimes, especially if you somehow drew into 2 starters, but these are your 5 normal summons usually within the deck. There is one more possibility. I only played 1 Thunder Dragon duo. Sometimes I wish this was 2. I really like this card, feel it's underestimated, and it's a power card that really hurts to have to banish off Allure of Darkness. I played 3 Matrix. I think this card is completely necessary when you're playing more of a pure build. Oftentimes you end up going into Link, Rebo, and Hawking when you've drawn bad hands, but you still get a Colossus on board. And in this deck, it can end up backed by 3 traps, and that still wins a lot of games. Next up, we have 3 Roar. That's pretty standard. We have 3 Dark, standard as well. I play 3 of the main. For going second, this is very awesome for breaking board. So you can end up pitching 1, pitching another singularly, getting the 3rd to hand. You activate Thunder Dragon Fusion, shuffle 2 back, and you have a Colossus. You can end up making a Titan, and then you start just popping it through their board. And if you can make a Colossus before that and you have Fusion and you link off into, you can end up popping out 4 cards. It's really awesome for forcing your opponent's fields. And then 3 Hawks as well. I think that's very standard. I definitely would say that out of the Thunder family, it's completely necessary to be playing these cards when you're playing pure. I wouldn't have it any other way. 1 Gold Sark, you don't see it too often. I don't think I saw this actually once during the entire tournament. I am playing more cards than standard. I had 46 freaking cards. I played 2 Instant Fusions. I almost wanted to up this to 3. I was having hard times fitting it in. I replaced a Lupine for the second one within my deck count. If you've been watching the streams, this is an amazing starter, an amazing extender, an amazing way to force fields going second. It's definitely a card that you just want to see, but you don't want to see multiples because of, the restrictions. Thunder Dragon Fusion I played 2 of as well. Definitely an underestimated card. I would not play this at 1. It's amazing for playing a little more recklessly. You can recycle your resources. Definitely don't ever underestimate this card. And the searching ability for stuff like Denko when you're going second. Yeah, that's real nice. 3 Allure of Darkness. Yeah, this card, it's draw power. I ran it into very few situations where I didn't have a Dark for it, but it still does happen, especially in this more stretched out build. The draw power, though, versus Light of Second, being able to play the real traps is what I valued. 3 Infinite Impermanence is my only not real trap in this trap lineup. It allows you to, actually have a response when you're going second. It's my only quick play out of hand in that sense, like hand trap, but I really still like it and value it. This was the MVP by far. People do not expect you to have this behind a Colossus, so when they're about to go Orcus combo, they'll typically still go into Cerberus, not wanting to waste their Phoenix for some reason when they see real back row, and you just crack it down. And even if they have Phoenix, they have to hit the right back row. I'd often set my second Fusion in back row and make the chances less of this getting hit. Crackdown plus Colossus and any interruption, I still have yet to lose a real game with that unless they've just had everything, which finally happened during this tournament. They had Trunade and so many other. Hey, Trunade is still a powerful card. 3 Summon Limits. This was the other MVP card, just really stymieing fields, helping me beat players that I realistically shouldn't be able to beat with much more recent YCS tops than my own. This card, it's really amazing, and I see people even sending it with Griffin within their Lunalight Orcus combos to stymie the opponent. So I would definitely like to play this in almost any deck I'm playing this format. Rivalry. My entire stream told me to cut this card, and I expected to play way more Sky Strikers, and Top Cut did represent that there were way more Sky Strikers there, but I only played one, and this is the only reason I won my round 1. He beat me game 1, games 2 and 3. I was able to come back only because of this card. Essentially, he shut out of his extra deck completely and has to get to a card to be able to deal with it on his own without touching his extra deck. Very hard for Strikers to do. Then 3, I say no to everything. Solemn Judgments, along with the other Solemn Buddy. Warning, I used to play Strikes as well. I maybe should have gone towards a 50 card build, but these definitely put in way more work than this one, but that's because I see them more often. The Warning's still very well paired. Actually, there was a game where I went second against Orcust, and I only won because I drew Solemn Judgment and Warning together. And then Imperial Order, I think there's enough said about this. It's very good against Draco because they have to hard draw a monster in order to tribute the spell to pop this. And then you also have Sky Strikers, of course, in the format, and so many other things. So that is the entire main deck. Let's go ahead and get into the extra and side. Thank you, T-Camp, for the very cool token as well. We've got Thousand Eyes Restrict, and this is kind of a whole package together, right? We've got Thousand Eyes Restrict for the instant fusion, which can go into Link Rebo, so you get a downward arrow. And then your other is Kaminari Attack. You're able to just use Kaminari Attack to go up towards Titan whenever you're using it with instant fusion. But it's also a Thunder Body on board, which is nice. Link Rebo also is very, very good with Matrix. As I think I mentioned earlier, you can go normal summon Matrix, go Link Rebo, and go Hawk with your worst hands, getting you out of awkward positions. Summon Summoner, I like this being a Thunder Link 2 overall. I think you really can't cut that one. It's nice. Even with access to Lambda, I still want to have access to Summon Summoner for its downward arrows as well. Nightmare Phoenix comes in clutch here and there. I didn't actually use it during this tournament, I believe. I don't think I did. I used BLS, I think, twice, and it came in very clutch when I had to use it. Nightmare Unicorn, I recall using once during the tournament, but I think during the later rounds, he comes up more than the earlier rounds. And then Borrelsword Dragon, again, I think I only made him once, but it ended up winning that game, so pretty clutch there. 3 of our buddies, each Colossus and Titan. I think this is completely necessary to max out on, and as is this, even with Thunder Recycle resources, you oftentimes end up sacrificing one of these early to make Titan, bring 2 back out, recycle with Fusion if you get broken. I think I only did that during 3 duels, though, at the risk of Nibiru. I definitely played different through this tournament because of the existence of that card, and I think it's important to acknowledge it. Then in my side deck, I have 3 Mind Control, 3 Pankratops, 3 Phantasme, 3 Denko, and 3 Twin Twisters. I kind of think that I would have been better off replacing the Mind Controls with Nibirus and having that threat be real rather than fake. If I did have Nibiru one of the games, I would have won where I drew the Mind Control instead. And that's kind of the decision tree where I was thinking that I should have instead. Phantasme, definitely really great all-tournament. Pankratops, really great all-tournament. Denko, the other MVP in the deck besides Crackdown, definitely for the side deck in way too many games. Way too many games just shut down completely thanks to her. 3 Twin Twisters, not so much an MVP as Denko, but still nice to see when I did see it. And then Mind Control only won me 1 game all tournament. So let me go through my matchups by round. Round 1, I played Striker, and like I said, he beat me game 1, and I reversed 2-0'd only thanks to Rivalry. Round 2, I got beat by Altergeist, one of my worst matchups, but game 1 I actually won thanks to having double Crackdown. He cracked down my Aloof Lupine, I cracked down it back, and then cracked down his, I believe, Multi-Faker, leaving him with no plays that turn. And then he ended up just having to pass back and forth, and I ended up taking it. But games 2 and 3, he just outgrinded. His deck did way more than mine could, and it's kind of one of the worst matchups of this deck. Round 3 is when I played Cyber Orcus, and I played one of the nicest duelists, period. We got a time extension, but we're still headed towards time. I asked him if he could hurry up his combo, because, in a sense, we're both going to take the L. And he went, hey, actually, I'm just going to scoop. I don't want us both to lose. He was a fan of the channel, and I did prove to him that I had damage next turn, where he wasn't able to output it, but I still feel bad about that kind of an interaction. And he was just the nicest person, period, because we ended up I had a very long game 1 with him where it was a grind, like a 30-minute game 1. I believe it was like a 5-minute game 2, and as times we're heading towards time, we have 6 minutes with our extension, and he's just the nicest person ever. I've never seen sportsmanship like that in the game where they don't just end up like tying. He scooped for asking for absolutely nothing. It was really moving to me. Then in the next round, I believe is where I face one of the, I believe, the True Draco duelist, and that was a 2-0 that my victory. It was weird because he was playing an extra deck, and I didn't quite expect that from True Draco, but I end up Solemn Judgmenting a card of Demise, and he's just completely stuck from that point. And then after that, I Denko him game 2, and he can't really resolve. Round 5, I lose to Grin Maju, putting me at 3-2 with the rest of the YugiTuber squad. Me, Nadir, I believe Gage, Simo, DZ, were all literally 3-2 at that point. Grin Maju OTK, it was a grindy 3 game. All my losses are in game 3, by the way. But it was just so grindy. He ends up using Hey Trunade on my back row, along with this Danger Bounce card for the Colossus, and is able to punch in damage. Games 2, I'm actually able to top deck a fusion that puts me just straight back in it, where I make a Titan and overpower him. And game 3, he grinds it out to be able to pop all my back row with Twin Twister and a Danger Hawk. So the Thunderbird just ends up taking that on all of my back row with one Twin Twister. It was sad for me. And then round 6, I play another Cyber Orcus that I managed to 2-0. Colossus does his thing. Then Denko does her thing. And round 7, I beat somebody from Team Luxury Gaming, I believe Kobe. He has recent YCS tops, and it's one of those games I feel like I shouldn't have won, but I did. I got destroyed game 1. Game 2, I win because of double summon limit. And then game 3, he actually sends Eradicator instead of what he sent game 1. And I end up winning because I smokescreened out almost all my traps, and he hits nothing with the Eradicator, and I'm able to actually OTK him through his field. So that was pretty impressive. I could tell that, like, he's one of those players that probably should have beat me in my current state where I haven't trained enough. Then in round 8, I played against a duelist who's been topping a lot lately as well with this like 55 card combo deck. And game 1, I win because of summon limit. Game 2, I just get absolutely destroyed by his insane board. He's summoning Crystal Wing, still using the Guard Dragons, going in on me. And then in game 3, he's able to blow out my back row. I only drew 1 with the Cosmic Cyclone that he drew, but he showed me that within his Warrior combo, he goes Warrior combo into Guard Dragon combo with his combo deck. He's able to use Isolde to summon Armageddon Knight to send Shadol Dragon to pop back rows as well if he is stuck in only Warriors. So then at summon limit there, ended up losing. I had a ton of fun. So many shout outs to all the tubers, to the people who helped me create this deck during streams, and also just had a lot of fun seeing the competitive scene once again. This is, again, STUNDER. I'm not recommending it as one of the best builds or variants, but it puts a lot of thought into putting real traps behind Thunder. Everybody who didn't watch the streams that ran into this was very surprised. And please, if you ever loan me a deck, don't make it max rarity. I'm like checking my bag every 5 minutes, and then seeing Team APS also like get their deck stolen this weekend. That's really freaking sad. So like, please loan me minimum rarity in the future. I was just freaking out all weekend. But thanks to everybody for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I plan to go to more events IRL. It's nice to treat yourself to some OCG product once in a while as well. Don't just max rarity out those cards. And again, thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you want more deck profiles like this that are unique takes on the metagame.